Alright, as a little update here to this door project, not only is that wall solid brick, but it's a touch wider than a conventional wall, and that's what a pre-hung door is designed to fit. The jamb, the width of the jamb, this dimension here of a jamb is precisely meant to be the exact thickness of a wall. It's supposed to be flush on the front and the back when you install it. This was shy of that, so I needed to create what's called an extension jamb. That's what you're looking at here, this 3/4 inch thick material. The jamb itself looks like it's about 1.25 inches thick, but I wanted to add to the dimension. I wanted to add to the thickness this way, and ultimately it's going to be trimmed over to there, so it won't make any difference that it isn't as thick as this jamb material. So I cut the factory edge off of some 3/4 inch PVC, like AZAC is a trade name, or any of this PVC trim board. It's got a factory finished side here, on there, and on the other side. So I just sent that through the table saw. So I have 3 factory sides here, and I justified it flush to the inside. I put a little back angle on it there. It's not the exact right back angle, but that's because the threshold is at a slight angle. I sent it down tight. I made a measurement here where it would be flush, and I lopped that off with the miter saw. I clamped it here and chased it all the way down, keeping it flush and putting it in with trim screws. I would have preferred the pocket screws that go with this type of trim. They make a little pocket hole, and then you fill it with a white plug. I thought I had them, and I ended up not having them on me. So I used some little finish screws, and I justified them to this side. So in the end, like I said, there'll be a little reveal, and the trim will cover it. And even if they are peeking out a little bit from the trim, there'll be a little round of white caulk that goes in that inside corner, and you'll never see those. So I just had to tackle everything together here because I didn't feel like running back to the store. I've got one more piece here, the final piece of extension jamb that goes across the top. I did paint the jamb while it was laying here. I painted the door on the bench in another video, but I brought the jamb down just primed the way it comes from the factory. I felt it was important to paint this edge and around the corner and down. I put 2 coats on here in the breeze in the sun. It only took 10 minutes or so to dry enough, and now it's at least painted behind there as well. And when this is mounted in the opening, I will pull the weather strip out and paint the jamb and paint right over into the feather edge that was left from doing this much paint, and everybody will be painted, and that'll be happy, happy, joy, joy. So I've got one more piece of extension jamb for the top. And then over here, we looked at treating this in the previous video and getting it all flash taped out. I got it dusted off. Now, when I put the extension jamb on, I'm going to put it to the outside of the house, and I'll go through that when the door's all the way installed, and I'll touch on why you do that. But it sends the door, the threshold, even further away from this. So basically, when you have the door installed, you can see like 1 inch of the top of this weather tape, and you can see the front of the weather tape, and that needs to be finished. So what I did here was I took a 5/4 deck board, treated lumber. I would have liked to have had some of this composite deck material here, but the client had someone else install this. He doesn't have any lying around. I did ask. So I ended up with a piece of 5/4 deck board. I used the power planer to take a huge rabbet basically out of the back of it, and then I notched both edges so that it works out to fit here. This is actually the first time I'm setting it in place. Let's hope I don't look like an idiot and it doesn't fit. No, it looks good, and it'll go in and stop and they'll leave. It's 1 inch. The full thickness is 1 inch deep, which means when it's set in there tight, I can send a little rip of the white PVC material that's 3/4 back in there and screw into the wood, and this will have a little bit of an overhang, and it'll be white finished underneath. This will be right here, and then the aluminum threshold will fall about here and leave about 1 inch or 1.5 inches of this showing here. And it's just how I'm going to solve this whole scenario. So we'll be back when that's all done.